it's Emma. Your qualifying goals came up in the board meeting this morning. Here's what to expect.
Hi guys, it's CombinedYoutuber here. Welcome to the F1 2016 career mode today, and we'll be doing the Monaco Grand Prix qualifying today. And there is no practice highlights for this weekend, as people were finding it really boring, which is quite a shame. So here we are, straight to qualifying for this Monaco Grand Prix. The jewel in the crown for this one. It's our best. It's one of our best tracks. So in practice we upgraded our engine power because Canada is the next track, which is a power track. So let's go now to qualifying for the Monaco Grand Prix.
Here we are at one of the most difficult circuits on the racing calendar. Welcome to Monaco for today's Formula One qualifying.
So here we are in qualifying for the Monaco Grand Prix. It's an 18-minute session as usual, so let's hope we can do well in this session. We should be able to, because Monaco is actually one of our best tracks. Weird enough, we're good at Monaco on a pad, so it's good. So Kimi Räikkönen, the first to go out on track, well, the first big, let's say, big guy to go out on track. It was actually Marcus Ericsson the first to go out on track. While we watch the slowest car on the grid. Kimi Räikkönen now on the final corner, which is Anthony Nogues, and now onto the pit straight, starting the lap of the Monaco Grand Prix. Now coming into Saint-Devote, into turn 1, braking down to third gear. Kimi Räikkönen does it nicely actually. Now coming up Beau Rivage, and now into Massenet, the long left-hander, who comes into fourth. And now into third gear for Casino Square. No, actually not for third gear, but Casino Square. Now going around the bump, now into Mirabeau, braking down to second gear, Kimi Räikkönen. Now coming into the Lowe's hairpin, braking down to first. The slowest corner on the F1 calendar, coming into Portier. And the second corner of Portier. And now coming into the tunnel, absolutely flat out, going into 6th and 7th gear. Now coming out of the tunnel, now coming into the Nouvelle chicane. Braking down into third gear, second gear. He hits those apexes nicely. Now coming onto the mini straight, coming into the downforce section of to back. Pretty fast there into 5th gear, into the swimming pool, flat out. And now into this chicane, into 4th gear, and down to 3rd. Now coming into the penultimate corner at Rascasse, braking down to 2nd gear. Kimi Räikkönen now into the final corner. What's he going to do for the first lap in this Monaco Grand Prix qualifying? Here he comes across the line on the pit straight. It's 116 actually, 116.092 for Kimi Räikkönen on the brand new ultra soft tyre. So that's the first time we'll be using the ultra soft tyre in this career mode. So yeah, Max Verstappen was out on track there, and now Fernando Alonso on a lap from McLaren Honda. I watched him because I feel like McLaren will do well this weekend because it's Monaco, which is downforce track, so they should do well. So here is Fernando Alonso coming around into the last two corners. Here he goes with DRS open onto the straight. Where's he going to be for this qualifying? 116.3. He goes third fastest, and that's a few tenths. That's actually 3 tenths off Kimi Räikkönen. The engineer there was just telling us about if our setup didn't feel good, then we needed to go back. I didn't really think that was important, but I'll let you listen anyway. Nico Rosberg now, who should be one of the main competitors for pole position. Nico Rosberg comes onto the pit straight. He comes now into turn 1, braking down to Saint-Devote, into third gear. So Rosberg should be a lot faster than Kimi Räikkönen here. Even though it's Mercedes, in Monaco, should be good enough. Now coming into Massenet, now coming into Casino Square, now coming into Mirabeau, braking down to second gear, and now coming into the Lowe's hairpin. It's a 20.0 for the first sector for Nico Rosberg. Now coming into into Portier now, both Portier corners. Now coming into the tunnel, absolutely flat as I said. Going up to 6th gear and into 7th, coming out of the tunnel now into what should be the sunshine, coming into the Nouvelle chicane, braking down to 2nd gear, and now into to back. What can Nico Rosberg do in this section? He goes into 5th gear, absolutely takes it nicely, flies out through the swimming pool, and he comes now into this chicane, which is it was actually faster in 2016. It's a 35.5 for the second sector. As now into the final corner comes Nico Rosberg. He comes across the line. What's he going to do? Comes across the line with a 1:15.5, going into provisional pole. That is over half a second faster than Kimi Raikkonen. Wow. Daniel Ricciardo on a lap as well. Lewis Hamilton is on a lap too. But Rosberg on provisional pole, and now Hamilton's got provisional pole by 2/10 with a 1:15.3. Gets 2/10 ahead of Rosberg, then Raikkonen is 7/10 behind. And Verstappen is 8/10 behind, and Bottas the first man to go in the 1.1 second mark. Rio Haryanto goes 12th fastest there. But now it's 9.5 minutes to go. We are now going to go out on track very soon, actually. But first, we're going to watch Daniel Ricciardo to see what he can do. Into the back now. It's a 20.0, so actually he's quite close to the Mercedes. So this is going to be an interesting qualifying session, because Ricciardo's equal with Rosberg's first sector. And now coming into the penultimate corner and into the final corner, Daniel Ricciardo comes onto the straight. He might lose some time because of his straight line speed. And coming onto the straight, it's a 1:15.6 for Daniel Ricciardo. He goes third fastest. That is 1/10, 2/10 off Lewis Hamilton. So Ricciardo doing decently there. He goes ahead of Sebastian Vettel, which is interesting. Does that not state Ricciardo's better than Vettel? Nah, joking. So now we are going to go out on track for our first run. On the ultra soft tyre, of course, because it's the fastest tyre, and it's actually the first time that we'll be using the ultra soft tyre in this career mode. We'll use it for Canada as well, of course, and for other races like Abu Dhabi and Singapore. So let's go out on track for this Monaco Grand Prix qualifying, our first run, coming out of the pit lane, which is a very tricky pit lane, to be fair. But we got it right there. I always cross the line on the exit, just on the corner. When you go across turn 1, I always cross the pit lane exit line there. Because, I don't know, it's a bit tricky to nail that. And then here we are on our out lap, coming into Mirabeau into second gear. Let's hope we can do well in this session. We should get close to the Mercedes. With our pace at Monaco, we should get close to top 3. We're massively overperforming as well. It's actually alright to overachieving, I should say. It's actually alright to do that, because I've seen in other career modes, most people in the first season overachieve and then become first driver, so yeah. So it's alright to do it here as well. So now coming into the back, what are we going to do here on our first lap? Coming into the chicane, very quick there. They're coming into Raskas, breaking down to second gear, down to the final corner with DRS open. Now onto the pit straight, starting our first lap here in Monaco. Coming onto the pit straight, coming to centre vote, breaking down into second gear. Nicely done from us there. Now coming up the hill into Beau Rivage. What are we going to do? Up the hill now into Beau Rivage, flat out 6th gear. And now coming into Massenet, 4th gear. And now coming through into Casino, 3rd gear, shifting down to 3rd. We're now going around the bump into Mirabeau, breaking down to 2nd gear. And we've hit the wall there in Mirabeau. That's unfortunate. We've made a mistake at Mirabeau. So that's our first crash of the weekend. As in like Saturday, Sunday weekend, not Friday doesn't count really. It's our first crash of the weekend. It's not technically not a crash, but it's still a crash. It's our first ever crash of the weekend. And we bottle it at Mirabeau, so try not to bottle in this track. I wouldn't suggest that. If you're like Team at Monaco in the YouTuber Championship at this track, then I don't know. But I'm nothing like that at the moment. They're coming into Raskas. Oh yeah, we actually almost did what Team at Monaco did. end, of course. We got very close to the inside wall into the final corner. Our first lap is a 1:16.8, which is a very bad time because of our hits to the wall at Mirabeau. So now, going for a second lap now. Let's see if we can improve. Now coming up the hill into Beau Rivage, coming into Massenet once again, coming down to 4th, and now breaking down to 3rd gear for Casino. Now coming around the bump once again, coming down to Mirabeau, our death corner, 2nd gear, and we've hit the wall again! We've hit the wall again at Mirabeau. That is just unbelievable. I actually can't believe we've done that. For the 2nd time in 2 laps, we've hit the wall at Mirabeau. Can we survive that in our final run? That's the question. If we don't, we're going to be in 17th for this race, which is not really ideal for a street track where you can't it's impossible to, very hard to overtake. Coming into the back, we're actually going to come back to the pits because we're not going to wreck our qualifying tyres by doing a 3rd lap. So we're going to come back into the pits now to change to a new set of Ultra Softs, and let's hope we can get a good lap in here. I predict top 3 at least. With our pace at the moment, we probably will get top 3, maybe even 2nd, or maybe even pole position. You never know, but top 3 I predict right now for this session. Considering my skills at Monaco on this game, I'm actually bad at Monaco in some games. F1 2014 is an example. F1 2013, I'm alright at it, but this game I'm actually decent at it. So here we go into the garage, the ending our first run. You can see on the left front tyre there are marbles on it. So from all the crashes we had at Mirabeau sent us onto the marbles, or either that or we went wide. Yeah, so we are currently in 17th at the moment here in Monaco. That is not ideal. So we're going for a set of Ultra Softs that is 1/10 faster than the set we were just on. So let's go for a flying lap, our final run. We can't screw this up. Let's go. As we now come on to our final run in this session. Here we go. We're going to cut to the lights, and now coming into Rascasse. What are we going to do at the end of this session? Into the final corner with DRS open, wide open onto the pit straight. Coming into turn 1, coming up through the gears into 6th and 7th. Coming into turn 1, 2nd gear. We missed the apex by a long way there into turn 1. Now coming up the hill into Beau Rivage. Coming now into Massenet. What are we going to do on this lap into 4th gear? Oh, very close to the walls, and now it gets into Casino, 3rd gear. And now coming into Mirabeau. Are we going to make Mirabeau this time? Yes, we are. We take a very wide line through there, and now into the lowest hairpin, breaking down to 1st gear, the tightest corner on the circuit and the slowest on the calendar. Coming into Portier, 2nd gear. We are 1 second up in our delta. This is actually a really good lap, by the way. Now coming into the tunnel, absolutely flat out. Coming into 6th and 7th gear. Now coming into the Nouvelle Chicane. What are we going to do? Breaking down into 2nd gear. Taking it absolutely beautifully there. 1.1 seconds. Up in our delta. What's the sector time at the end of sector 2? Here we go. We are actually 2/10 down there, so we are actually going to be close to pole position here. Now coming into this chicane there, which is pretty quick, and now into the penultimate corner of Rascasse, and now to the final corner with DRS open. Onto the pit straight, DRS open now. We're going to cross the line. Where are we going to be for this Monaco Grand Prix? That might be pole position. Yes, it's pole position. For this Monaco Grand Prix, we were 2/10 down in the 2nd sector, and we have managed to snatch pole position.
Top 3 are a Haas, Ricciardo, and Nico Rosberg. It's time to leave for now, but we'll be back tomorrow when the Grand Prix itself gets underway.
We have managed to snatch pole position in this Monaco Grand Prix by a few hundredths. From Daniel Ricciardo, who has a 5-place group penalty for a collision with Pascal Wehrlein, who is one of the back markers. So, it's interesting there. Ricciardo gets a penalty, so he's down to 7th. So Rosberg will start beside me on the front row ahead of Lewis Hamilton. So we have got pole position for this Monaco Grand Prix, our first ever pole position in this F1 2016 career mode. In F1 2013 career mode, we got our first pole position in this track. We get it in this career mode too. So Rosberg is in 3rd, Hamilton, Vettel in 5th, and our teammate Romain Grosjean in 16th. Our rival Valtteri Bottas in 13th. So it's us who gets pole position for this Grand Prix. That is unbelievable. Rosberg will start 2nd on the grid, and Lewis Hamilton will start 3rd on the grid because of Ricciardo, who originally qualified 2nd, will get a 5-place grid penalty. Here are our resource points after qualifying. We should get quite a few here. We got 50 resource points for overachieving my rivalry by 11 positions. And here's a rivalry update. We should get yes in pretty much everything. We're absolutely leading it. Look at that, 26 out of 21 from 21. And actually, after skipping Spain, we were actually losing the rivalry. So that was a good thing there. So that was the Monaco Grand Prix qualifying. We got pole position for the first time for our Haas F1 career mode, and that was a pretty good time. I'll upload the pole lap later, because that's what I do when I get pole position. So we're just looking at the rest of them. You can see we got our 2nd place in Russia last time. It was absolutely awesome, if you remember. So hope you enjoyed this Monaco Grand Prix qualifying. We get our first ever pole position in this career mode, and see you guys on my next video, which will be the Monaco Grand Prix race. And please like, comment, and subscribe, and goodbye.